Welcome back. Now, Hamas is reportedly denying that it issued any statement to the Nine Network or the Nine Papers yesterday, praising Anthony Albanese and the recognition of Palestine. I understand now that it came from the office of Sheikh Youssef. They're saying the comments from the Sheikh are not from him because he is in jail and can't get a message out. Presumably now the Prime Minister's come out, he's warned the media about falling for Hamas propaganda. That's a bit rich, given how much he has been relying on some of the pictures of starving children out of Gaza. Let's bring in our Thursday night panel. Sky News contributor Kosha Gada and former Labor MP Michael Danby. Welcome to you both. Let's talk about that, Michael. I mean, it was on the cards, but what do you make of the fallout from the recognition of Palestine by the Prime Minister and his Foreign Minister?
Well, Albo and Penny Wong have stuck themselves to an elderly man, 89, who has never done any of the things he promised to Albo, and it's so reminiscent, as was said on this station last night, of his Munich moment. He's got a piece of paper and he's waving it round. It won't be achieved, none of it. And Australia is making its foreign policy on the basis of this. We're lucky that the Americans don't take our foreign policy too seriously, particularly in the Middle East. We have no influence.
I understand there was a printout of that conversation and there was no details of what actually Abbas promised to do if we recognise Palestine.
That's in the PA's press release of the whole thing. No details at all.
Ours is different, is it?
None of the things that Albo talked about on TV to reassure Australians were mentioned by the Palestinians. So therefore, can you believe that when they actually get to the stage of recognition that they will take any of these things further? It wasn't even mentioned in the press release.
I want to ask you something. You're a Labor legend. You were there a long time. You know Albanese well. Wong as well. This is in their DNA, is it not?
It is. I know Albo since student politics. That's a long time, Steve. And this is a boyhood fantasy of his. He never believed he'd be able to achieve this, but he did it. It's in his guts. It's much more important than for the average Australian, this issue, and that explains why he's run so hard on it and he's taken such ridiculous risks. Imagine tying yourself to all of these ridiculous promises of Mohammed Abbas that are never going to happen. God help us if an Australian election people call him to account for these promises.
I just wonder whether the images over the bridge might have had something to do with it. Kosha, let's turn our attention to this meeting between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. It's going to happen in Alaska. It's going to happen in Anchorage, I think at an Air Force base. Donald Trump's made the point pretty clearly that there might be a second meeting. So that would indicate to me that he doesn't think the first one's going to go all that well. What do you think's going to happen here?
Look, I think it is historic if you just take a step back. It's the first time that they're meeting, or they're meeting since 2019, the two leaders. It's the first time Putin is coming to the US in over a decade. No Russian leaders ever set foot in Anchorage or in Alaska at all, even when it was owned by the Russian Empire, all the way back. So just the symbolism of it, I think, should not be dismissed. That said, we should manage our expectations. This is a stepping stone in a ladder of meetings that will have to happen given the complexity of this negotiation. There's still a lot of gap between what both sides want. I also think that the meeting is, yes, centrally about this conflict, but it's also about other bigger things. Can there be a pathway to normalizing relations between the US and Russia? There are two nuclear powers. Are there other commercial agreements possibly beyond the rainbow if we get to a peace agreement? So I think he's setting the stage. It's going to have to require Zelensky's participation.
Best case, Steve, is I think they'll get a few days ceasefire out of it.
Well, none of us can get inside Trump's mind, but some media commentators suggest that he's quite enamoured is not the right word, but he actually bows down to no one, Trump, but apparently Putin has this sort of influence over him.
Who knows?
Is that real?
I mean, he has, I think, broke from the orthodoxy where he used to always famously say, I'll meet with anybody. And it doesn't mean I'm his friend. It doesn't mean I love him. But I think it's a good thing to have relations, not a bad thing, with everybody, including difficult actors on the world stage. He has come out more strongly against Putin in recent times, where he reneged on ceasefire agreements, or that leak that came out about Melania Trump being unhappy with how he's bombing hospitals and things like that. So he's a realist.
He's become more attuned to the civilians being killed. He doesn't like the fact that he rings the guy up, however enamoured he is to him. He likes it because he's a bigger character as he is, but he doesn't like the fact that he kills people later that night after having
because
spoken
he kept
to
saying over and over and again, didn't he? I mean, that young soldiers, young people are being killed, and he trots out the figures. And when he speaks in raw stats, it's an awful picture.
He's also not a fan of Zelensky, which is the other piece of this too. So I think he's just looking at this like, I'm
he's
here to play.
Improved. He met him in the Vatican, and he now talks to him regularly.
He said the other day at a media conference, he said, I'll go into the meeting and after 2 minutes, I'll know whether I'm going to get what I need or not. A reporter shouted out, how are you going to know? And he said, because I'm a deal maker. I'll make a deal.
He's going to ask him for a ceasefire, 15 days or 60 days, and Putin's response is going to be only to offer, in my opinion, this is what he's going to do, an air ceasefire. So they'll continue fighting at the front, but he'll stop bombing cities so Melania doesn't badger the Donald.
Can Ukraine, or will Ukraine, Kosha, offer up any of the taken real estate?
That is the million-dollar question. All the official positioning from Zelensky and others has been no, we're not interested in a land swap, and many people hold that view. But when Trump famously said to him, you hold no cards, that now infamous line, I should say, in the Oval Office meeting, I think he is suggesting that there has to be some sort of concession on territory, and I think that the devil will be in the details on what that looks like.
Things have changed since then. The Russians, the Ukrainians have 60% of their own arms production, and the Europeans are funding them seriously.
Got to go. We'll be watching it on Saturday morning.